Let's talk about anxiety. I said the A word. Anxiety. Nobody really wants to talk about her, but we're going to. It is my opinion, and I'm sure it's the opinion of a lot of other people. Mental health is not talked about enough. And even though it's become much more talked about in the last few years, it still has this stigma around it. And I really, really believe that the stigma needs to be, cut off. It needs to die. It needs to go away. Because mental health struggles are real and valid and just as important as any other struggle in your life, if not more. And I say if not more because your mental and emotional health drives everything else you do. It involves everything else you do. So if there's struggles with that, it's going to impact everything else you're doing, which is why I say it could even be more important than every other struggle. But anyway, mental health is important. We need to talk about it, and it needs to be okay to talk about it. And I don't know why things got so dark. What the crap? We need to be able to talk about it when you're having a bad day, and it also needs to be okay to talk about it and not judging like, oh, you're anxious? Well, just stop being so nervous all the time. Not how it works. Hello, person who just walked through the back of my video. But anyway, I woke up this morning and my anxiety was through the roof. And this happens sometimes. Sometimes I just wake up and I'm mega anxious for absolutely no reason. Not even like I had a dream that made me anxious, because I don't remember if I dreamed or not last night. I don't remember a lot of my dreams. I don't know if that's normal, but like I feel like I never dream, or like if I dream, I never ever remember them. So I don't know if I had a dream that made me mega anxious, but whatever it was, I woke up, my anxiety was through the roof. On days like this, where I wake up and my anxiety is absolutely through the roof, it's really, really hard to get up and start functioning. Get up and get dressed and brush my teeth and convince myself to, get out of bed, all of the above. It's really hard because the anxiety is almost paralyzing. So, I don't know, I just thought I actually wanted to talk about body image and that today, but this kind of came up in my own life today, and I figured because I'm feeling it right now, it would be a really good time to talk about it. So today was a little different for me, waking up with this extreme amount of anxiety. I didn't necessarily have time to work through all of the feelings because I did have to get up. I had an appointment at 11 o'clock. I had to go to physical therapy, which I'm outside of now. I just finished. So, but I woke up with this extreme amount of anxiety. Didn't really have time to process the emotions or necessarily convince myself to get out of bed because I didn't have a choice because I had to get in the car to drive to the place to be there on time. But still, what happens with me is it's paralyzing. It's hard to get out of bed. It's hard to convince yourself to start functioning, get up, brush your teeth, get dressed, and do the things you have to do. So in a way, it did help that I had this appointment because I didn't have time to fluctuate. I had hit snooze too many times already, to be honest. And I didn't have time to worry and deal with it. I laid there for probably 10 minutes. And I actually, I went on my phone. I went on, I think I was on TikTok. I don't even remember. Just almost to distract myself. And that was my coping mechanism. And I think I spent 10 minutes or whatever, and I was running out of time to get ready and leave, but also I had distracted myself enough to bring the anxiety down to a level where I was able to ignore it, at least in that moment, to get up and get dressed and just, do what I had to do. I took my hair out of braids, I brushed my teeth, I threw clothes on, and I left. So right now, there's a baseline level of anxiety, like it's underlying right now. I'm not feeling it in full force right now, but it's there. I can tell it's there. I can feel a little bit of, I would describe it as almost jitteriness, like my hands are not shaking, but I almost feel like jittery in my forearms, which is very weird. These are some of the physiological symptoms that I have sometimes. Like when I woke up this morning, like I said, I had this like extreme amount of anxiety. I could feel my pulse in my fingertips. Like I could just, almost like I could feel the blood moving through all of the parts of my body, which is a little bit freaky and weird, and it's one of those symptoms that I get a lot of times when my anxiety is at that super high level, so it helps me diagnose it or recognize when I'm at that moment. So now when I wake up like that, I almost kind of have to attack the day with a different mindset. I know that I'm not at my best. The lighting keeps changing. The sun keeps like going behind clouds and then coming out, and it's like very nice, but also kind of rude because I'm trying to film. So when my day starts like that, when I wake up with that anxiety, when I know it's going to be a tougher day, I kind of have to attack it different mentally, because I know it's going to be more tiring to do everything. I know my mental capacity and my emotional capacity, it's not at its best, it's not at its most full. So I have to make sure I have that mindset throughout the day. Some of it is almost being a little bit kinder and more forgiving to myself. Knowing that I'm not at my best today and that I can't necessarily expect from myself what I might expect from myself on a different day, what I might be able to expect myself to handle, how I might expect myself to function, all of the things I know I have to tweak my expectations a little bit. Almost not necessarily lower my standards, but even just be more forgiving with myself. And then the day also becomes about, what are the little things I can do to alleviate the anxiety a little bit? What are the little things I can do to alleviate the stress and the struggle? Fun story. My phone was sitting in the sun while I was filming that, and it overheated, and it did that thing that iPhones do where they're like, phone is too hot, must let it cool down before you're allowed to do anything or whatever. I drove part of the way home, which I had actually had this plan before my phone died, or overheated or whatever, but it kind of worked out anyway. That I was going to stop at Dunkin' on my way home. So I got a frozen vanilla chai latte, which I always get them hot, but it is like 95 degrees and I was not getting a hot one. So I've never had the frozen, so we're trying that. And I also got munchkins. So I believe what I was talking about is just kind of how I'm coping with the anxiety today, and how that's going. So what I'm doing to try and help myself through the day is doing small things that make me happy and making sure I keep that as a priority, especially because it's summer. I don't have as many specific obligations, and how I handle things sometimes differs when I'm at school or, like working or whatever it is. But right now I don't have those obligations, so I'm able to focus a little bit more on what I personally need, like what my heart and what my soul and what my mind needs right now. And I have the luxury of being able to prioritize that a little bit right now. So I'm trying to focus on doing small things for myself. Small things that make me happy that really are no big deal. I mean, I drove to physical therapy with the music loud and the windows down, which is absolutely one of my favorite things to do. I really like just driving and listening to music and just enjoying. I live in a relatively rural area, so there's a lot of beautiful scenery, and it's just something that brings me joy. And there's no cost to it, there's no issue, and it just makes me happy. So when I drove to physical therapy, I drove with the windows down and the music up loud, singing and just having a good time and just relishing in that happiness, which is something that helps counteract the anxiety. Even if it doesn't help necessarily for the rest of the day, for that half hour it took me to drive to physical therapy, it made me happy, and the anxiety was on the back burner at least. I won't say it was gone, I won't say it disappeared, but it was on the back burner, and I was able to just be free, essentially. I put on my favorite perfume today. This outfit I'm wearing, I'm literally wearing a tank top and shorts, and I had a cardigan on before. Makes me feel cute. It is a little bit stressful for me because it's a tight shirt and I'm insecure. So, I mean, that's something to do with the body image, but also, like, I am comfortable. It's a comfortable outfit. It's not itchy or scratchy or whatever, and it generally makes me feel good. A little bit insecure, a little bit out of my comfort zone, but also still makes me feel good. So that balance is helpful. That balance is good. The mask I had on today, it's like my new favorite one. It's just like this silvery, and like there's a little bit of blue in it, but I think it's really cute and it makes me happy. So just these little, shall I say, these little love notes to myself, these little things I'm doing to bring myself joy, I think I need to also implement just in my life in general. But right now, like, I know it's something that helps with the anxiety. I think it's something I should start doing every day anyway. But So then I figured I would stop at Dunkin' on my way home because this is gonna make me happy. Ooh, and that's really good. I've never had this. I think I mentioned it's the frozen vanilla chai latte, and I always get it hot, but it's like literally 95 degrees out. Driving with the windows down and 95 degrees out. I'm sweating a little bit, but the wind in my hair makes me happy, so I'm doing it anyway. And I don't have to go anywhere else, so if I'm a little sweaty when I get home, who cares? And on days where my anxiety, decides to be extra rude, because I live with a higher level of anxiety every day than most people experience. And that's something I've accepted, that's something I'm used to, and I just know that my brain works a little differently than other people's. So, shall we say normal people's. And everyone's brain works differently, but I just know that this is something I deal with on a daily basis. But when it's higher than that normal level anxiety, my normal leveling of anxiety, and when it's higher than that, and doing the little things that make me happy, like this, that are really not a big deal, but just treating myself a little extra, treating myself with a little more love, a little more kindness, a little more forgiveness, is helpful in dealing with it. At least for me. That's how I'm coping, and that's how I'm dealing. And I don't know. I don't know exactly what the purpose of this video is. I really just want to share some of my experience on a day where I'm having those feelings and talking through it a little bit. But really, like, if this is something you're dealing with, I don't want you to feel alone. We're in this together. We're all dealing. We're dealing with it. I know how you feel. You know how I feel. You are not crazy. You are not alone. And I think knowing you're not alone in something is a really powerful feeling. But I'm proud of you. You're getting through this. You can do it. I believe in you. This isn't... It's something extra you have to work through, but it makes you a stronger person. And you can do it, and I believe in you. And I think that's really the message I'm trying to get across here. But I'm going to drive home. I am going to put my hair back again. Probably a little sweaty, which is gross, but I'm going to put my hair back. My little face frame pieces are going to come out, and they're going to get in the way, but I don't care. I am going to plug in my music, drink this vanilla chai, and enjoy the sunshine and the hot day. Even though I'm not really a heat person, like, I'm gonna enjoy it. It is a beautiful day out. It is sunny, and there are some nice bright white puffy clouds in the sky, and I'm gonna try and take in the joy and the happiness and focus on the positivity, which I am usually not an optimist, but I'm really working hard on embracing the things that make me happy and trying to embrace the joy and relish in it and be thankful for it. So I am going to enjoy this beautiful day and the 15-minute drive I have left, and I'm going to plug in my music and I'm going to play it loud, and I'm going to have a good time. And yeah, I'll check in later.